Hello and welcome to HOTFIX. So today we're going to talk about, well, Mr. Kirioth, we're going to talk about what exactly happened with the fellow IWillDominate, or to give you a more structured title, ladies and gentlemen, should eSports pros be punished like other pro sports players, and what has Riot recently just done in the banning of this. I was going to say will.i.am, but that's the bloody guy from the Black Eyed Peas. It's not him. IWillDominate, which people hilariously call IWillSpectate now. Or so I believe. I'm not that hip down with the LOL crew. Yeah, I can't lost my point. But whatever, Mr. Kirioth, quick, save me.
Well, Mr. IWillDominate was recently banned from competitive play for a year by Riot, and he had all of his known LOL accounts banned permanently.
So explain who this guy is. Who is he?
Well, he's a professional LOL player with
so he makes money
Dignitas.
Off LOL.
Yes, with Team Dignitas. And he's been known to be a little bit frustrated, should we say? Like he's done the occasional stream, he's appeared on other people's streams, and he's become known for having a bit of a temper on the lad. And it turns out that Riot have been following him for quite some time, not in a stalkery way, just keeping tabs like. And it turns out that he's received 8 warnings, and in fact been punished 8 times in the tribunal, which is quite a high number of punishments.
For doing what? What's he been doing? Just being
apparently
abusive?
He has a persistent tendency to engage in verbal insults and abuse. He has a lack of cordial demeanour, and his treatment of less skilled players is unacceptable for any player, especially a high-profile professional player who has regular opportunity to lead the community by example. This is what Biting Pig, the senior eSports manager from Riot, has said. So basically, he's behaved like a ranker.
So he's behaved like the typical LoL player. This is what I'm getting from this. And is this the reason why the typical LoL player is a little bastard half the time? Shouting loads of abuse into the chat. I can remember, if you died first, so your first blood, you would get ripped into by your team. It'd be like, noob mid, noob bottom, whatever. And it's like, what the guy killed me, so what? The game isn't lost. But it kind of is lost, because it just turns into this shit fest of a bloody slinging match. So what you're saying to me is that this guy is basically the head of this, and Riot have turned up and gone, you know what? We need to sort this mess out, and the best way to do this is to get rid of this guy IWillDominate, because he's the most visible of all the abusive little bastards. I mean, who are we talking about here? Is he like a kid? Is he like a...
Well, from what I know,
young teenager.
He's kind of around mid-20s, as far as I know.
Well, that's terrible if he is.
Are there
any examples of what he said?
Well, there's lots of second-hand examples, like all over Reddit, on the LOL subreddit. There are people who've said that, he was in someone else's stream and he was AFKing when someone died, or he was telling people they should fuck off and die because they got killed, or... there's lots of kind of, I wouldn't say first-hand evidence of stuff, because it's kind of hard to capture that kind of thing, without going around screenshotting everything that everyone says. And if people don't keep, streams that they've done, then you can't really find a way of doing it. But the fact that Riot has singled him out and made this information public in the first place is kind of a very good indication as to just how bad it is. I mean, according to this, his harassment score places him among the worst 0.7% of all North American players.
Oh, right, okay, so this guy isn't just that... You see, I was thinking maybe he's just been, you're shit, mate, I'm playing for a professional team, that type of attitude. But if he's in the top 0.8%, did you say?
0.7%.
0.7%, okay, well that's
all
even
North
worse.
American players.
Which is a considerable amount of players. This guy must be an absolute tosser. He must be terrible then. And you're telling me he's mid-20s and he plays a game of which I'm guessing he's pretty good at this game if he's in Team Dignitas.
Well,
Oh, go on.
A professional player with a widely recognised and generally high-performing team.
Okay.
And he's in the 0.7% of the worst. behaving. I mean,
so
Christ.
he's got some massive elitist complexion on the go then, where he thinks he can just turn up and throw abuse at people who are below him, which naturally they're going to, 99.9% of players he's going to play against are going to be below him in terms of skill level, surely, if he's playing for a professional team, if he's getting paid to play the fucking game. You see what I'm saying? So for him to turn up and just abuse people because they are worse than him, which is kind of a fact, that's like getting a Premier League English football player and putting him in the fucking, I don't know, the third division. Of course he's going to be better than everybody, but you think he's going to run around going, oh, I'm better than you fucking wanker? Probably not. Well, he might do because he's a football player, but probably not. But that leads us on to an interesting thing as well. Is this really that much different than how professional players are punished in actual sports? Now, I'm going to give an example which, if you don't follow the English Premier League, the football, you probably won't understand the names and such I'm going to use, but you'll understand the basic concepts of it. So there was a player called John Terry who got caught on camera calling, I'm not going to say what he said because it was like terrible racial abuse to a black player. John Terry's a white guy, like, he also plays for England, so it's like made even worse. He was the captain of England as well. So football's got this whole kick racism out of football thing. So they basically fined him and banned him. It wasn't as long as it should have been, but they fined him, banned him, and removed him from the England team. So he doesn't play for England anymore. Like or maybe I'm getting a bit confused. He's definitely not the captain. I don't think he plays for England anymore. They've got rid of him. So that's quite severe punishment. But it should have been worse. There are other examples. There's Suarez, played for Liverpool. Now, he was racist to Patrice Evra, a Manchester United player, and he got massive fine and a ban. So, this guy, IWillDominate. I say his name and I want to say will.i.am. That ain't even what the. IWillDominate, right? It's a terrible name because whatever. He turns up and he starts being aggressive and abusive and threatening in his game when he is a figurehead of that community. There will be people out there who hold this guy up there as their idol. There must be. I mean, what is he? A mid or something? Jungler?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well,
the Dignitas lineup keeps changing.
Solo top. Well, let's just say he's solo top. So you want to be a good solo top player, and you watch this guy, and you watch his stream, and you see the torrent of abuse spewing forth out of his filthy fucking mouth, a bit like mine now, and you're like, oh, this is acceptable. So if I'm doing okay in my lane and I notice mid's died, I can just throw loads of abuse at mid. Mid, you're a piece of shit, you fucking dribbler, fucking get out. There comes a point where you can say things like that to a certain extent. If you're, sometimes you might get heated and you might go, oh, what the fuck, or something like that. But if you're constantly attacking people and you have been prosecuted for this, what was it, 8 times, 7, 8 times?
Yeah, he'd already been punished 8 times before.
I mean, how many times does this guy have to be fucking told? That's like robbing a shop, getting convicted of burglary. No, you wouldn't burgle a shop, would you? That's burgling a house, isn't it? Yeah, whatever. You rob a shop. I'm not a criminal mastermind. Maybe I am. I don't know. You make your mind up. You get arrested. You get fined and sent to prison or whatever. But then you do it again, and then you do it again, and you do it again, and then you do it again and again and again. And every time you get in court, maybe you would think, oh, okay, they've caught me. Do you know what I think's gone on here, bloke? I think this guy thinks he's above the law, so he thinks, doesn't matter, I can keep doing this because Riot are never going to do anything to me.
That is something that is something that quite a few people were saying. Like that, this is. Some people said, "Oh, it's too harsh. He's been banned for a year. It's the end of his LoL career." I'm thinking, well, no, Riot hasn't ruined his LoL career. He has probably ruined his LoL career if he can't get back into a team, or if he gets ditched by Dignitas and he can't come back because, well, the guy's acted like an arsehole. But I think a part of it as well is that there's always little things about people saying, oh, you can report me, but it won't matter, I'm a pro player, or oh, you can report me, but it won't matter because I know Tryndamere, I know this person, I know that person, I'm important, Riot won't touch me. They will. Riot at the moment have got pretty much the biggest esport going, and they're trying to make it bigger. They're increasing the number of tournaments that they do themselves. They're increasing the visibility of their pro players. They're doing things like the pro player spotlights, where the pro players pick their favourite champions. They're trying to bring these people into public attention. Now, if you bring some complete idiot into attention who spends all of his time insulting and berating the rest of his team for no reason other than he can't keep his fucking mouth shut, then that's going to make your product the people who play your game look bad. I mean, why would Riot let someone who is as toxic as IWillDominate remain in the public spotlight if he behaves the way he does? And it's not even like, oh, we didn't know. We had no idea he was like this. We knew he was a pro player. We know he's good. We didn't know he was so horrible to people. No, they've got access to fucking everything. Every report that goes through, they know about it. Every time you get punished, they know about it. I mean, they've got the statistics here. 0.7%, the worst.
That's
the
correct.
fuck's sake. I mean,
this guy is a dickhead. That's what I've come to the conclusion that this guy is basically a dickhead bloke of the most epic proportions. So we've got somebody in a position where he is making money doing something that I'm guessing he loves doing. There's countless people out there who'd want to be, a pro gamer, who'd want to be a professional athlete in some capacity or whatever. Well, this guy basically is. So his answer to this is, I'm such a god, I'm going to walk around and just be so massively abusive to everybody I play against. And you can't ban me, you can report me all you like, I don't give a shit. Oh, what's this? I've been banned. This is bollocks. Why have Riot banned me? Well, I've got news for you, sunshine. They've banned you because you're a figurehead of the community, and somewhat like it's like an infection, I suppose. You're kind of the source of it. And I would imagine most impressionable people out there who have watched this guy and whatever on his stream, I'm guessing he's a popular streamer. He must get thousands on his stream.
He's appeared quite often in other people's streams, which is where part of the part of the problem lies in some ways, because people were saying, oh, well, in some ways it's not fair because it's not like the public knew that much, because quite often he appeared on other people's streams. Yeah, no. If he's in the 0.7% of worst players for attitude, then the fact that he was on streams at all is kind of irrelevant anyway, because anyone who comes across this guy... Yeah, anyone who comes across this guy in game... Yeah. I mean, you might not even know who the fuck these people are, but if a guy turns up in your high elo games and talks shit and abuses everybody, you're still going to remember the name. It's not like, oh, I've seen this guy once, I'm never going to see him again. When you get to a certain level
generally
of
ELO, and generally the high level elo guys are going to be the guys who live and breathe the game, so they're going to know who this guy is. They're going to be the ones who make the biggest splash on the forums. They're going to be the ones who... It's the same with any game. The guys who are really invested in it, the high-end players, always cause the biggest impact because they are, number one, the most vocal, and number two, the best at the fucking game. So they know what they're talking about. You know what, Blow? I can't even believe this is really... I can't believe this is... It's just so pathetic. I mean, this guy is just... I just don't even understand, like, what...
The thing that
I just don't even understand why you would even do that. I mean, even forget it's LOL, forget it's even a sport, and just think of it, this is your job. Do you turn up to your job, walk into your office or your factory, and call everybody a bunch of tossers and wankers because you are the shift manager or whatever? You're not going to be the shift manager for very long because nobody's going to fucking listen to you. And they're all going to report you to the boss, in this case Riot, and then guess what they're going to do, Bloke? They're going to reprimand you. So what's happened, Bloke? Oh, he's been reprimanded. I think this guy, I don't know what his history is, but I'm just going to completely guess at all this. I think he's been a little silver spoon-fed bastard who's played games all his life, hasn't been exposed to the real world. Now he's been fucking slapped. You can't believe it, and he can fuck off.
See, this is the thing as well. This applies to any and all fucking pro players. And I suppose in some ways it can apply to people like us as well. We're in a very privileged position, as are these pro players. You're getting to play a game you love as a job, right? Other people are getting up at fucking 8 AM, they're going to Tesco, they're stacking shelves for 10 hours, and they're coming back... Or Walmart.
Got to go international, bloke.
And they're coming back with minimum wage. You're getting paid thousands a year to sit on your arse and play your favourite fucking video game.
I'm not.
Now,
well, I was.
Well, yeah, I mean... but I mean, if the position of being able to do that is not enough to make you think that you should, I don't know, clean up your fucking act, it's like... Another good example is like Wayne Rooney. When he first... when he first came to, became very well known, there's a lot of stuff about, oh, he's got anger problems. I'm sorry, but for the fucking wage you're on, you do not have anger problems. You're doing the thing you fucking love, you're getting paid for it, and you're still shouting at people. Fuck you. That's pathetic. If you can't keep your fucking mouth under control whilst you're doing something that thousands of people would kill for the opportunity to do, then you don't deserve it in the first place.
Millions, bloke. It's millions, ain't it? It's just so unbelievable. And I just... I mean, this is good because we can see the way this. I mean, this is good for eSports, really, because it's showing you that eSports is just the same as normal sport, traditional sport. It's the same. The same things are starting to happen. I completely agree with what Riot have done. I mean, let's be honest here. It doesn't really affect Riot in any sense of the way, does it? In fact, it just makes Riot look better. I look at this and I'm like, well, to me, finally, Riot are doing something about their community. I used to play LoL all the fucking time. Now, I stopped playing LoL. And the reason for that is it kind of... Well, I guess maybe I overplayed it a little bit, but also it does get old and slowly grate on you. The fact the community is pretty bad. Any mistake is sort of pulled up straight away. I know this applies to most MOBA style games anyway, because it's like a team-based thing. If you ain't pulling your weight, I'm going to give you abuse. But a lot of the time, it would just be I'm giving you abuse for the sake of I'm giving you, abuse. And there must be a point where where does this all emanate from? It must come from somewhere. Okay, it's probably ingrained into people. You don't want to play a game for 30, 40 minutes and watch some guy throw it all away. Of course you're going to be angry and you're probably going to say, oh, that guy's a fucking knobhead or whatever like that. You would say that in football. I used to play a lot of football. I used to play at a fairly professional level as well. If I was in a team and like the keeper missed the ball, on an easy catch and it went in the net, well then everybody would be like, oh, you son of a bitch. No, they give him abuse. And that's fair enough. But I think it kind of goes a bit beyond that. If you've got a guy who's doing this all the time, it's not like he's saying this to his teammates as well, which is the other thing I want to clear up. In a football team, even an American football team or a rugby team or a hockey team or a whatever team, a basketball team, a baseball team, you know your players, they're your friends. So if I call Kirioth, oh, you bag of shit, Kirioth, you sold me down the river, that's fine because we're on a team, we know what's going on. But if I'm playing with random people, if I go to the local leisure centre and start playing football, I'm not going to run around the pitch shouting abuse at people I don't know, which is basically what this guy has been doing in League of Legends, going around giving loads of abuse to everybody, and then he wonders when these people are like, hang on, I'm going to report this guy, he's just given me that much abuse. And I don't know if we know the specifics of the abuse, but if he's telling people to go and die, and he's getting like higher tier abuse, not just telling somebody to fuck off or whatever.
Yeah, for it to be among the worst 0.7%, it's got to be.
We're
pretty
talking
fucking
racial
bad.
Abuse and everything like that.
I mean, they don't. Riot obviously don't give specifics, and it would be kind of, despite the fact that the guy has been like royally fucked for his shitty behaviour, it would be kind of unfair to take what other people have said without evidence and pile it onto him. But I'm sorry, but how many people play the game? How many people play LoL in North America? Fucking millions. It's just one of the most popular games in the world. To be among the worst 0.7%, you've got to be talking some shit on a really regular basis, and it's got to be some really abusive stuff on top of that, because you do not get to being one of the worst attitude players of the game in North America just by saying lol noob. You don't get that. It's like lol noob.
L2P.
L2P. And the thing, I think, the only to me, this is just nothing but positive, because the fact is that there's a massive problem with MOBAs in general, not just LoL. I mean, other MOBAs like Heroes and Newerth and Dota 2, there's all this kind of rivalry between all of them, and there's all this kind of, oh, well, their community's shitter or their game's worse. But really, the crowds are all the same. If you look at any different subreddit or any different community, the game might change, but the insults remain, is basically what the problem is.
Well, it's the same with everything, ain't it? I mean, you could even use things like MMOs. You would get that. I remember playing World of Warcraft and doing pickup groups, and it would just be as bad. Yeah. You'd have the DPS guy just going crazy, and he just wouldn't know what he's doing, or a lot of abuse in the chat. Or can we hurry this up? What's going on? And maybe it's something to do with having a low access level. So obviously it's free to play; everybody can get onto it, and then people start settling into. I mean, if you're playing in a team, you're not going to suffer that much abuse as if you're going to be playing the solo queue, which obviously is going to be the worst place for abuse. But you would imagine as you go up the ranks, people start getting better. Now I've seen, I think his name's Scara, and I think he plays for Team Dignitas as well. I've seen some of his streams in the past as well, and he's abusive to people. And it's like, why is he getting so abusive to people that are just random people? So I mean, what I'm interested in seeing is, I feel sorry for Odie and Team Dignitas. I mean, the guy's fucking house almost burnt down the other day, and now he's got this little bastard thrown out of his LoL team, so he's going to have to find a replacement, which I'm guessing is going to be fairly difficult because he must have been quite a good player, so that's not really the best of situations, for him. But I I don't know. It's just so irritating. I mean, if I'd just fucking... Oh, God. I would hope this guy never gets a team again. Now, if he's... Well, let's talk about his financial situation then. So, this was obviously his job. This is where he was making his money from. So, he's been banned. So, he's going to obviously earn no money as a result of LoL. Because I don't think... Can he... In fact, can he just play as like a different account? Or any of that shit?
He could play as he could start a new account. I mean, all the accounts that he's got at the moment are banned. But he cannot... Any sort of Riot-based tournament, which is what they're focusing on now, he can't play him. He's banned for a year from any competitive play. So it's, I mean, Riot are making the big push at the moment where they're trying to do more tournaments themselves. They're kind of, it's almost like the pro players are on like a retainer. So they do loads of Riot-based tournaments every year, and they're looking at things like monthly tournaments and all this kind of thing. So the control of the LoL eSports scene is very much shifting over to Riot. I mean, apart from the massive events, like things like DreamHack, for instance, I'd imagine wouldn't be that affected by it, but the majority of LoL tournaments are going to be run by Riot, which is kind of sensible because they've got you can't say they haven't got the budget for it, and they're trying to push it to be even bigger than it is already, and it's already a massive esport. So if he is effectively incapable of playing in any Riot-sponsored tournament, which is pretty much most, if not all of them now, where's he going to get his cash from?
And of course, no other tournament's going to take him on anyway because of his history now.
Yeah.
So he's basically smashed then, because a year is a long time, especially in the computer gaming world. So better players are going to come along and going to replace him, and there'll just be no spot for him. Nobody'd want him. He's kind of like a tainted player, I'd imagine. So he's basically screwed then, unless something drastic happens, which I don't know. I think Mr. Kirioth, though, will wrap this up, and I think hopefully this is the way companies start going.
Yeah.
I look at Blizzard and I look at StarCraft, and on the whole, besides Idra, or Idra, depending on how you want to pronounce the guy, there's no hate in that community at the highest level. I haven't seen people turn up and just throw abuse for the sake of it. I've seen the odd stupid bit of drama, but I haven't seen anybody get massively aggressive in the game. Now obviously the game's a little bit different because it takes a lot more clicky and less typey, I suppose. Like, so you can't really be as aggressive, and it's like 1v1, isn't it, at the highest level? So I don't know. But hopefully, Mr. Kirioth, this is the way things will go as esports starts to mature, and so do the companies running esports. And I'd imagine more people will get banned, and this IWillDominate is just the first of many.
Yeah, well, as the game matures, the people who play it need to mature as well. And if they don't, they're going to have to be shown the door, because there's no space for people like this.
Mid-20s, he's a fucking moron.
There's no space for people like that in something that is growing to the extent that it is. There's just no space for it. You wouldn't allow it in a normal sports team, so you shouldn't allow it in an esports team. Simple as.
Okay, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel and follow me, which is @UnitLostGaming on Twitter, and follow Kirioth, which is @Kirioth. And we'll catch him next time, Mr. Kirioth. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.